LOTR season 2, Rings of Power season 2 is coming. How excited you both?
I can't wait. I can't wait because we this has been
2 years.
but the whole thing has been 5 years. You know, so it's such a big part of our lives. But yeah, the season's been like 2 years, and we don't get to see much. So we're as excited as you guys are. You know.
Yeah, I mean it's the story is really moving now, and it's nice to see that like we are just pumped as fans of the show. Like we just want to watch it.
So how was the experience, shooting experience? Like the costumes, prosthetics, everything.
It's such an immersive experience to be in the show. But a lot of what we do, it's resources, and you can do with very little. But when you have a studio like Amazon and GM and Prime backing a project like this, and you absolutely get every toy, every resource to be able to portray something like this. Yeah. It kind of, it's almost like spiritual because it's everything's there. Yeah. So your imagination just kind of explodes. Yeah.
You? How was your experience?
I mean, it's just so fun. Like, do you know what I mean? They make it so fun. Like, it's literally just we're playing play pretend for like 12 hours. Like, that's just like when people say that when you love your job, you don't work a day in your life. It's so true. The amount of times like I will just talk to Ismail on set and be like, I can't believe I'm being paid for this. I'm having so much fun. Like I'm just so grateful. Like it's such a blessing to be able to do what we do and look where we are. Like it's so great.
Absolutely. According to me, the beauty of the show is diverse cast. Mm-hmm. But I really want to ask you, like I have read somewhere, like Amazon, like the creators also hired on-set therapists for the welfare of the cast, and I guess you talked about it in detail.
Yeah.
If you can share like what actually happened and about the on-set therapist, that's the best thing, right?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I think for any show, regardless of the subject matter, or its diversity in terms of ethnicity and whatnot, you as an actor, you're dealing with emotions, and it is a very specific kind of art because it can be fragile to handle the human experience like on screen in front of people. It's extremely vulnerable. So I think in general, a resource of somebody that's neutral there, that even you can see them and feel grounded. It's an important thing. And that was the therapist, on-set therapist, came out of conversations that I had with the studio, which I'm extremely grateful. They were very receptive to that. Sulky, Vernon, all of these amazing peeps XX over there, because there were a lot of loud voices, in terms of being opposed to us existing in these characters, and we needed support, and and I vocalized that, and they've been heard, and they helped us out. But in general, I must say that the profession that we do, it be glamorous and this and that from the outside in, but it can be a little isolating, so it is very important to have people that you feel safe in life and that you can ask for help when you need it, and this goes for any profession. Absolutely. And sometimes you're a little scared because your employer is there and you don't want to be seen as weak, or or anything like that, so someone that you can shoot a look to, or that can notice your energy changes, and it can come in many ways. Like Tyro's mom is often with us, and also his big brother, and they're people that are not necessarily they're not part of the cast on camera, but they're part of the cast. And she's somewhere here behind the cameras, and even I get emotional because even shooting her a look, it grounds you, and makes you feel safe. And yesterday she kind of noticed that I needed a hug, and nobody else had. She's like, I think you need a mama hug, and I sure did. So I appreciate the question because it helps expose also like a little bit of the vulnerable reality of what we go through.
Absolutely, it's important to understand your life behind camera also, the emotions behind the camera. We all need to understand.
Yeah, thank you for that.
So, you are so young, right? Starting at such young age. What do you have to say about this industry so far? How's your experience?
I mean, my experience has been great. Do you know what I mean? Amazon has been so accommodating and really just made sure that I'm been comfortable in every sense, all the way up until this point. And It's been great, but it doesn't mean that I haven't had my own struggles too. It's like as an actor in general, there are things that we deal with that are hard to explain or for people to relate to, and so being a young person in that, it's hard. You know, none of my friends can relate because they're all just studying at uni and things like that. But it's those moments where I can sit down and have a talk with my castmates, you know, and really just let stuff out. And so it's like I feel like I'm at a point now where I'm super open with everything, you know, and I'm just having a good time and just enjoying life.
Absolutely. One last question before I wrap up. You would like to visit India soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
You worked with Priyanka Chopra. Like anything you would like to share about the experience working with her?
Oh, every time I get asked, I get super excited. You know, there's the working with the greats is always something that you never know how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I remember one day I was working with Nicole. Well, I was gonna work with Nicole Kidman. I just didn't know what that was gonna be like. But it's an experience that kind of is repeated. Like they're greats because of how incredible of beings they are. And when I met Priyanka, she's up there. Incredible leader, so generous. I mean, to begin with, it's so cool. Also, you know,
you're blushing.
Yeah, I mean, I am still a huge fan.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she'd be like, "This is just being weird." He's too much of a fan. I'm like, I told her, I was like, "I'm such a fan, man. I'm such a fan." She's such a great leader, so charismatic, so loving, made everybody on set feel great. Keeps her culture so close to her. You know, her mom is also she's on set with us quite a bit. Her daughter, her husband, like that whole family dynamic. Same what we're talking about. It really grounds you.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking up to her because she's the lead, you know. And she's leading in the greatest of ways, doing her own stunts. Like, what do you need? You know, extremely generous. I can go on and on and on. It was a dream come true, a beautiful example, and I can't wait to work with her. Yeah, truly.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So like we are wrapping, but like one thing, like message for LOTR fans. If you have to describe LOTR in a few words, how would you describe season 2?
Big bang. Boom.
You?
I like that. I would say it's heart, it's raw, and it's fast. Yeah.
So yeah, we all are waiting for season 2. Thank you so much for your time. So speaking of LOTR, first of all, congratulations for the second season.
Thank you.
I want to start with you. Before starting with the second season, did you revisit first season and check the feedback, audience feedback? What worked for them? What didn't work for them? What factors you kept in mind while creating the second season?
Well, so we actually wrote the second season during our COVID hiatus, during shooting from season 1.
Okay.
So we had written the entire second season before season 1 came out. So really didn't have a chance to have much audience feedback. But I'd say we're always open to critics, you know, and you can tell pretty quickly if someone has a genuine criticism that they want to give in a way that's really thoughtful and respectful. And when people engage with it like that, you know, you're like, oh gosh, that's a really good thing to keep in mind. And you can also tell when people just want to kind of like, you know, throw axes or whatever, have an axe to grind. And when they do that, you can see pretty quickly just in the tone of it, and you're like, okay, that's not, you know, as constructive and useful. But constructive criticism always welcome.
Yeah. And speaking of you both, we loved your bond, on-screen bond. I want to know your off-screen bond, off-screen friendship. What bond you both share?
Yes, I mean, we're really close friends. We kind of instantly hit it off and we didn't have a chemistry test, so very fortunate that that's the case. Yeah, a lot of fun. A lot of fun to be had.
Yeah, but it's really lovely to get to work with someone who you get along with naturally.
Yeah.
It makes that process just sort of more easeful and more fun as well. We film a lot together, so you know it's fun.
LOTR is a big project, right? Children have grown up reading books. So, like, what was your reaction when you both were approached for this project? If you can recall the moment when you were approached.
When I was approached, I mean, when I first got the audition, I was in the back. I was in like the back of a store I was working at the time, and I got the email and I really couldn't believe it. I was like, well, I'm so grateful to just audition. And then when I found out, it was completely surreal. I was so jet lagged, first time in LA, and I just really, I mean, yeah.
I mean, I totally remember, like, then there was another project that was sort of in the mix that, like, we thought for a second we might lose Markella because we were told she was already down the line with something else, and we called a friend of a friend to see, like, would we be able to possibly find a way to, like, connect with her, and I still remember the first time we met, and she just knocked the audition out of the park, and we were so excited about her for Dory. And then Megan,
I mean, I got the audition. I was on another job, and then I got the audition through, and which was great because I was warmed up. So that was nice. But it was untitled Amazon project, so I didn't know what it was, and also I wasn't aware of Tolkien's work before either. So I kind of just approached it with my sort of very fresh eyes. And I mean, here I am. Yeah.
Absolutely. You all traveled to India 2 years ago. I met you there also in India. What memories you hold, like, from India, like you still have?
It was a lifetime experience. It was amazing. I remember going there and just being overwhelmed by the sights and the colors and the sounds and the smells and the people and the joy. I walked on the street for just a few minutes, and there was I don't remember what religion, but there was a holy man who came and sort of blessed me. Even just having been in the streets for like 10 seconds, like he just like walked up to me and gave me a blessing. And I instantly felt blessed by the entire land, so to speak. And it was the most welcoming spiritual experience being there. And I took that with me from then there forward.
What about you both?
Just the warmth of the people and how lovely everyone was and welcoming. And we really, I think it was like the second stop on that tour, and everyone was just so kind and with such interesting questions about the show and our process, and incredible. It was an incredible few days.
Yeah, it's wonderful to be surrounded by a culture, I think, full stop, really, that is not your own, and especially one that's so welcoming and vibrant. And the people were just so wonderful. You couldn't help but get blasted by the sort of love and community and warmth. But it's really, I really hope that I can go and actually explore it, on my own time, and because it really is wonderful. Yeah.
One last question before I wrap up. Was it challenging to create such big budget project?
I mean, yes, every single day is a challenge. If you were to take any frame from the show, I could tell you 1,000 decisions that went into that frame, in terms of the hundreds of actors that we saw for audition for the role, in terms of the dozens of different costume designs that we looked at for the character, in terms of the 15 locations we scouted to see which the best would be, or all the different designs we considered for the set, and what VFX went into augmenting the set, and the stunts that happened to get. I mean, every single thing is challenging, but it's the right kind of challenge, and we're so fortunate to have a crew. And a group of department heads. I mean, Jason Smith, our VFX producer, is a legitimate wizard. Christian Milstead, our production designer, is so amazing. Charlotte Brandstrom, who directed 4 of our episodes, producing director, is also just has an amazing filmmaking eye. So I mean, and also our cast of actors, each one of whom sort of inhabits these magical creatures and brings them to life. I mean, it's such a talented group of people, and so yes, it's challenging, but it's the kind of challenges that helps you grow both as an artist and as a human being.
Yeah. So when we can expect season 3?
No comment, but I can say we are working on it. We are deep in the process creatively of sort of hewing the boulder from the mountain and figuring out exactly what it's going to be. But stay tuned.
How does it feel to be a part of Lord of the Rings world?
It's a huge privilege, and I think all of us in the cast feel an enormous sense of responsibility as the current torchbearers of the Tolkien universe, and to be able to tell this story. Charlie and I in particular, we're incredibly lucky to have an amazing time filming our section of the story this season, and we think we've only seen 3 episodes, but we think that's reflected on the screen.
Yeah. What about you, Charles?
Very similar. It's these trips that we get to make, to come here, to come to Mumbai 2 years ago. We've been to Mexico, Berlin, London in the last month.
Yeah.
it's a busy time, but it's a real treat for anyone to have that opportunity to travel, especially on the back of something that we've put so much of our time and love into this show. And it's to be part of Lord of the Rings. I mean, it's a wonderful.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So, like, one question for you. Yeah, sure. If you get power in real life to create rings, how would you utilize that power?
How would I
Utilize that power if you get real power in
Okay.
real life?
So is it?
So
about-
we've had this. We've talked about invisibility. We've talked
Yeah.
about flying,
yeah,
both of which are good.
good, but I think we can do better. I'm putting that
Other
pressure-
than ensuring world peace, all those kind of things.
Of course.
Taking those as a given.
yeah.
I mean, there was something with avocados. I'm not sure if we're going to stick with that though. Maybe we should leave that.
Well, no, the avocado
Oh.
one. No, it's always a good answer, but I think we can. I think we can be a bit more creative this time. So is the question about like what kind of power you
Yeah.
would have if you put a
Flying.
ring on?
Yeah.
Flying's good. What about like Oh, you said invisibility.
Yeah.
What about laser vision, like Homelander in The
Yeah,
Boys?
that
You
would-
don't watch The Boys, do you?
No, not yet.
It wouldn't be that useful apart from like
I will watch The Boys, however, because it's on Amazon.
Amazon
Prime.
Prime. I've watched all 4 seasons.
Oh, well done, Charlie.
And all the special features,
Very good.
cast interviews.
Excellent.
Maybe not extra, like laser vision.
Absolutely.
So that allows you to see through walls.
No, you shoot laser beams out of your eyes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not to attack people.
Just
It's
to what?
more just to
give them
like
a shock.
show off. Laser
Does it
in the
affect?
sky.
How does it affect the person? Do they just go, what's that? Is it like
No,
a rubber band?
No, it would kill them if you laser beamed them.
But you just have to walk around like that the whole time. Otherwise, you'd just be going around causing mass murder.
They're not constantly coming out.
Oh, you can turn it on and
Yeah,
off.
So,
Do you
yeah.
burn things? Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry,
you
I'm
do.
sure you've got more
Like,
questions.
we got
Okay, you got the idea.
yeah. So yeah, you are one of the main leads, right? So I'm sure like you must have received a different kind of fame after LOTR. So what do you have to say about the fame you received after the first season?
To be honest, it's like my life hasn't changed that much. Sometimes you get noticed and people talk to you about the show, but I've only ever had positive interactions in person. Like people are very kind. They'll give you they'll give you their thoughts, and normally it's just like, oh, thanks for putting such hard work into it, and a version of that.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, I don't know, going to get milk or whatever, nothing has changed. Yeah, which is good, and long may it stay like that.
But was there
Wow.
some pressure on you because you are one of the leads and second season mainly revolves around you?
Yeah, I mean there is an element of pressure that I feel, but you kind of learn to let it go. Being a part of this, I let it go a while ago, and I just feel like I feel incredibly lucky to be able to tell the story and have this job. So I think that far outweighs any sense of pressure, and it's more a sense of excitement, I think, because now we've been in this for 5 years. It's kind of like the pressure is dissipated now, but certainly at the start, yeah.
Absolutely. The best part about the show is like it has a diverse cast. So like when you sit and work with different kind of actors, like do you like to take inputs from them? Like do you observe them?
Oh yeah, very much so. Can I just say
Yeah,
what Charlie was talking
Yeah.
about there?
The
The
X-ray vision, the laser
No, not that.
vision.
the pressure that you asked about.
Yeah.
It becomes, you kind of use it.
Yeah.
You kind of convert it into an enthusiasm
Yeah.
rather than, it's like when you're doing a play and you transform your nerves into energy to do the show. That's how it's
Yeah.
kind of, it now fuels us.
Mm.
What many people think the expectation is and the responsibility, all those things are there, but they are like the fuel under us. And I think particularly in season 2, it's really sort of propelled us forward because we're very excited about our storyline
Yeah.
and the whole show. But that completely avoided your question, which was, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Like when you work with a diverse cast, different actors, do you like to observe them and take inputs from them?
Always. Whoever you're working with, I always like to absorb and learn. Always learning.
Yeah.
And taking tips and just watching.
That's the beauty, I would say.
Yeah, very much so. That's what makes this job so wonderful.
Absolutely. One last question to you. You also talked about costumes and like prosthetics, and you were scared. Why? Like I read because I guess your wife was pregnant, because of the prosthetics and costumes. If you can talk about that.
Yeah. Well, when I was filming, I mean, Charlie was a huge part of it, as was everyone in the makeup truck and in the prosthetics bus. My wife was 9 months pregnant while we were filming. So there was a world in which I would have to have gone to the hospital dressed as Sauron because I wouldn't have had time to take any of the prosthetics off. And that my baby, the first thing he would have seen is me waiting for him dressed as Sauron. He'd be scarred for life. But luckily it didn't happen. He was born on a day off.
It was close though.
It was very close. It was close.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really close.
So how's father treating you?
It's fantastic. It's the greatest joy of all, I think.
How does it feel to be a part of LOTR family?
Feels amazing.
Yeah, it feels amazing.
Surreal.
It feels like
Totally surreal.
a dream, a gift.
And you are the queen.
Yeah.
Queen of our family.
Feels good to be the queen. Yeah, I think all of us are very much excited and ready to share because we know what we've been working so hard on for many, many months, and we've stepped away, or some of us have stepped away. Charlotte's been working still, but when you know what you have and what people are going to experience, you're just excited to finally get it out there. So I think the audience, they've waited a while, and the wait is going to be worth it for sure.
And you are the captain of the ship. Was it challenging to carry forward the LOTR legacy?
I mean, but collaborating with two great showrunners, and I have the scripts. So for me, it's really about finding the right visuals. And we have like a huge team, an incredible team to collaborate with. And it's very creative, it's very collaborative, and it's actually a dream come true every day. It's amazing to be part of it. And also to do the prequel to Peter Jackson's film, because it's a different world we're creating. It's an earlier world. So, and it's a lot of as you saw, it's a lot of different worlds, a lot of different looks. So it's a lot of work, but very exciting. But when you're doing it, you don't realize how big it is. You're sort of full focused on the work. And it's now that you start promoting it, that you start to see that it goes everywhere. You don't think about that when you're working.
Absolutely. So, like, I really want to know one thing. Like, you directed Shogun also, right? It was based on novel. It's also linked with book. So, what's your approach when you direct projects which are linked with books? Because there are different fan bases.
I have read both books, but I didn't reread them. I had read both books. I have read Shogun many years ago, and same for Lord of the Rings, the Third Age. I haven't read every Lord of the Rings books, but I loved the ones that Peter Jackson adapted. You have read even more than me, the Silmarillion. You have read the...
Oh yes, yeah.
But what I do is that I look for references because I have the scripts, and I'm not coming in to rewrite the scripts based on the books. I'm coming in to really to visualize the world that the showrunners created, to make it dramatic, to make sure that we portray it the way also they had imagined it. So I look at a lot of visual references at films, and I try to find the looks there, and then I also like to look at art and paintings in museums. So we find different lighting. We always go around.
So different approaches.
Yeah, different approaches. Yeah.
Your character has a different approach, different charm. Your character.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. So, like, what kind of preps you do, like, before getting into the character?
Well, I do enjoy reading. I like climbing a tree with a book and just staying up there and reading a book kind of thing. I would say there was a lot of geopolitics. I like that. I think I'm a big Tim Marshall fan. I believe that, leaders of countries, they act sometimes out of what they believe is necessity, what can be fear, desperation with regards to the resources of their country and the parameters of their country and stuff. I believe we're all sculpted by our environment. And that rang true to me with Numenor. is that, you know, we're on this island, the kingdom. We seem to have everything. It seems to be the Garden of Eden, but there's a touch of Bluebeard there, you know, don't go west.
Yeah.
There's, of course, all of a sudden your freedom is curtailed and you start thinking, well, are we living in a zoo or some sort of simulation or whatever have you? So all of a sudden you start getting disenchanted. And it says this in the books as well, is that Numenorians start getting just their lifespan just a tiny bit shorter. They get uglier as a people.
Yeah.
And they start, all of a sudden, nature, they start to try and commandeer nature and to sort of put reins on it. And everything, and the animals, everything there is to serve them. And it becomes more of just purely a celebration of them rather than a celebration of the island. And you see it get narrower and more mechanical. And that's what stuck. And I think reading a lot of Tim Marshall and a lot of other books and stuff helped me, I guess, get into the mind space of that.
Absolutely. One last question before I wrap up. You're also a fan of John Wick franchise. Do you like to bring that kind of action in LOTR?
Yes, you will have some. Oh, we'll have a lot of action coming in. I like the action. I like what is epic and cinematic. And I like the scope of those films and I enjoy watching them. So I try to recreate. Actually, I try to do what I like watching.
So, thank you so much.